Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Checking in on the MJ sector, so we have a bit of a mix in how these bounces played out. Overall, the general sentiment is weak bounces and potential for bear flags. There are some names that stood out. OGI and ACB are the clear leaders. And again, let's just compare real quick before we go into the individual analysis. OGI's bounce, very significant follow through, not a bear flag. ACB, solid bounce, bulls will take it, solid volume. CGC, upper wick, weak bounce, potential bear flag. APHA, weak bounce, potential bear flag. And a lot of USMJ names gave us daily inside bars and not really a whole lot of information. So the bottom line is, as I was highlighting in the video yesterday, the bears have control of this market, and of this sector, I should say. And as long as that is the case, we cannot give the bulls any benefit of the doubt. We can play bounce plays, and we can protect our trades by either scaling out into short-term profit or placing stop losses at break even ideally and hoping we hit a bottom. But again, to buy and hope that the trend changes on the daily time frame is a low reward, high risk scenario. So for CGC, this bounce on declining bull volume is not strong. We do still have the hourly uptrend, but if we lose the hourly uptrend, then the odds of the daily bear flag increase a good bit. So right now our hourly higher low is 35.25. If that level were to break tomorrow, we zoom out to the daily and we look back at our recent low of 33.38. There's no support nearby after 33.38 except for 33.23. And then after that, it's 33, 32, 31 psychological levels. Bears in control. What I would need to see for some turnaround and follow through, I would need a pullback and a hold of the recent low and then a bull break, a 4-hour trend change. I would need to see a daily trend change. And again, CGC has not changed the daily trend with a higher low and a higher high since 52.74. There have been no fake outs. There have been some strong bounces mixed in there, but as far as daily trends changing for the bulls, it has not happened. So the first time that happens from the pullback from 52.74 will certainly be notable. At this point, we've pulled back 36% with no daily trend change. So that's something I'm watching for before my sentiment shifts in this sector. Need that daily trend change, and it's not going to happen anytime soon on these bounces. We're going to top out, and then we're going to head back down to test supports, and we'll have to hold those supports and then break the top of the bounces in order to change any daily trends. Cron bounce somewhere in the middle of the road as far as compared to everybody else. Anything under 15.85 is just a lower high on the daily. Hourly higher low of support is currently at 14.86, but that formed at the end of the day, and we didn't get enough bounce off of that level for us to be confident that that is indeed our higher low. So the most important things we're going to be looking at on all individual names are, what does the bounce look like on the daily, and what's our most recent hourly support? Because when we lose these hourly support levels, the lower high on the daily time frame is going to be set. APHA, weak bounce, potential bear flag. Hourly time frame, looks like that volume occurred after hours with shares settling from previously traded in the day. So not really paying a whole lot of attention to that. But we've got our hourly higher low of 618, another one at 628. And if we break 628, the odds of a daily bear flag will increase as we head into tomorrow. So two key support levels. Hourly uptrend and low of today are the most important support levels into tomorrow. ACB, solid bounce. Hourly higher low here. Trying to form another one. Anything above 693 will be an hourly higher low. And it does look like we had shares settling after hours here as well. Just want to ensure that that is what that is. And actually, a bit odd. That's probably something else. Usually when shares settle, it happens right at 4 o'clock. APHA, 410. So I'm going to have to dig in and see what that is. I don't have it off the top of my head right now. We'll see if there's anything after hours that's notable. but not on any other names aside from APHA and ACB so far. TLRY, anything on the daily time frame under 46.67, just a daily lower high. And we have to change the daily trend back for the bulls in order to be looking at a weekly higher low to form. So best case scenario for the bulls to change that trend at this point would be a 4-hour inverse head and shoulders pattern, changing that daily trend where we have our left shoulder, our head. If we consolidate and top out, we have to hold the low and then break the high of the bounce to confirm a 4-hour inverse head and shoulders and try and shift this daily momentum. But as long as it's daily lower highs, bears have complete control. So CTST pulled back today. Opportunity for bears to enter after such a significant bounce on a name that's on the cutting block in terms of about to receive potential punishment after bouncing 28%. Definitely scout a lower high, and we ended up pulling back hard, and we broke hourly support of 289. So potential daily bear flag here. Key short-term support 267, and then the low of 243. Only hope for the bulls is a 4-hour higher low holding 243, and then they would have to turn around and break 320 to change the 4-hour trend. Still a lot of volatility there, so if you're looking for day trades, that is definitely one to be keeping an eye on for that volatility. OGI, so leader of the bounce, earnings came out, bullish reaction to earnings, and we have likely going to set a lower high compared to our recent high of 731. So we have our high, low, we're scouting a lower high compared to 731, and then we'll look for a daily higher low. There's enough range within this that we're going to look for that equilibrium to form. Anything on the hourly above $6 will be a higher low. We have not established an hourly higher low today. So initial consolidation, the next consolidation we see from here, we will anticipate a higher low is likely to form, but it will be losing that hourly uptrend that indicates our daily lower high compared to 731 has been set. Hexo still extremely weak. Potential bear flag, anything under 525, just a lower high. And our support as we close near the low of the day is 479. Hourly uptrend has been lost with this little break of the low of the day today. Support was 5 psychological from yesterday. That's still holding. That's really the only short-term support aside from the recent low. And the daily exponential resistance continues to reject the price, and the bulls continue to fail to put 2 green days together in a row. VFF, extremely weak bounce attempt. We saw that on the first day, and the bears didn't disappoint with following through with that. Dropped down to a lower low, weakness after hours, 923 and 889. And if we break 889 support, the next level that we're looking at is a lack of support. 775 is the next level on the weekly. TGOD, trying to bounce. Anything under 340 is just a lower high. That is the resistance level, and I don't care what the bulls do as long as we're under that level. They're not proving anything to me. It's worth watching because the bears are not getting a lot of follow through on these lower lows, but playing defense is one thing. We have to see bulls play offense for us to pay attention, and breaking 340 is required to shift momentum on the daily time frame. VGW, gap up on earnings and a ton of profit taking. Double bottom at $4 support, but after that is 385. And it's essentially just rejecting from that all-time high. Got pretty close, but not close enough. 475 was resistance. We topped out at 469. And now the question is, how much pullback do we see in reaction to these earnings? With 385 key support after $4. If we break 385, it's a big setback, and it will be pretty much just a failed all-time high attempt, and we'll be looking back down at 337 if 385 does break. So that's the Canadian names. Again, some names standing out stronger than others and creating enough space that we will anticipate daily higher lows when the bounces top out, specifically OGI and ACB. But everybody else, there's still, again, we have to be skeptical of the bulls, and that is keeping us protective against the trend as the bears do still have control. And if we see a red day tomorrow, the S&P 500 just started consolidating today, looking for a daily higher low. We'll see if that daily uptrend remains. Definitely saw some break-in correlation with the bounce playing out this morning first thing, as SPY was weak. But overall, unimpressed, very unimpressed by these bulls, and going to patiently sit back and wait for the next trade opportunity. I personally don't see anything that I like in the short term in the MJ sector as far as trades go. There's a few that I'm keeping an eye on for, I believe that when a shift takes place, it will be quick. For example, CURA leaf and that falling wedge, which we'll look at in just a second. But other than that, just being real patient. ZYNE, daily inside bar. We have to break the pattern of a lower high every single day to form our higher low compared to 1236. But that hasn't happened yet, which would be an hourly trend change. The bull's unable to change the hourly trend. So key support is 1337 and 1319. If those levels break, it's 13 and 1236. And if we do break the pattern of a lower high every day, we'll say that our daily high or low has been set, and then we'll look for a lower high in the upper 14s. So CURA is a potential daily bear flag as well. And as long as this 4-hour exponential resistance continues to reject the price, it has been an absolute brick wall for months, 2 months of resistance. And most recently, just a perfect guide. Look at ever since June 26, 3 weeks now, where you can count a dozen touches of this line, and every single one is an inability to close over it. Most notably yesterday and again today. So that's a key resistance, and if we can't get over that and it continues to drive the price down, breaking 802 will confirm a bear flag on the daily time frame. If the bulls are able to get over 4-hour exponential resistance, we haven't been able to get over daily exponential resistance in 2 months, and that'll be the next hurdle, with anything under 935 as just a lower high. And that falling wedge that I was talking about, I'll draw it again real quick. And we're coming up to test that resistance right now, and this is pretty much what I'm looking at. And we should see a very clear break from this range sometime within the next 3 days, I would say. CWeb is still in its tightening range, although starting to favor the bears a bit more. We have our high, low, lower high, and we haven't convincingly set a higher low yet. We did bounce off of 2083, but no real follow through. So 2083 and 2079 key supports close to being tested, and the bulls are going to have to break 2218 to be convinced that this higher low is set. And the best case scenario for the bulls, if we do get a bear break, will be a lack of follow through and a big long lower wick, showing us the possibility of a little weekly bull flag. But support much closer to being tested than resistance is. Resistance is $2 away, and support is about 70 cents away. IAN still not doing anything. A little bit of a shift today on the shorter term time frames, but 4-hour exponential resistance the last few days here as well. And if we cannot break 389, the bulls don't prove anything, and it too is a potential little weak bear flag. TRUL, little daily inside bar, bulls not doing much. First resistance is 1412, but as I keep pointing out, the low 15s are the more critical resistance, and coming off of the low, we'll need a daily trend change to believe anything about these bulls. Daily trend changes and bull crosses of the 12 and 26 period exponential moving averages will be a notable shift in these sectors if we can start to see that happening. OH, daily inside bar. Even if we get the bull break, the daily exponential resistance will be right there, and anything under 913 is just a lower high. And last, MedMen, very weak. Again, the size of the pullback on this weekly time frame indicates we're more likely to see a weekly equilibrium than a weekly trend change, at least initially. So low, high, we're scouting a higher low compared to 251. There is no sign of that forming yet at this point. And we'll have to change the daily trend back to the bulls to be looking for our weekly higher low to be set. So it's still a bleak outlook for the bulls. That's going to be the case until daily trends do change. And pretty much to shift what we have going on today, we have to see a big solid green day tomorrow and breaks of the highs of today and strong closes. And that's certainly been a rarity in this sector recently. So establish your game plans accordingly, and we could be in for another few weeks of downside. It's possible that these bear flags follow through. We have to anticipate the possibility of every scenario, whether it's a daily trend change for the bulls or another leg down for the bears. And I'm going to be picky in this space as a bull until bulls prove something to me. So I appreciate you watching. Do good things out there. We'll continue to check in on this sector because, as we know, when the last person has given up on a sector after a hype cycle and into a fear cycle, that's when the bottom hits. Cryptocurrency did it a few months ago, and the MJ sector will do it as well. It's just a matter of when, and we'll certainly be here when that happens. So, see you next time.